All right, we're going to go ahead and start the, it should be the normal meeting for the Redevelopment Commission. Sent out the agenda. Does anybody have any corrections or changes to the agenda? I do have one. I did get the bill from Baker Tilly for their annual audit or discussion on all the TIF districts, and the amount was $12,550. And in the past, what we've done with that is we divide it equally amongst the TIF districts for payment. So I'll add that to the agenda. Anything else we need to add to the agenda? David, Bill, Carol?
I'll make a motion to it.
You got a motion? Second. You got a second? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Carol sent those out quite diligently, I might add. Any changes or corrections to the minutes? If none, I'll accept.
I'll make a motion.
We got a motion? Need a second?
Second.
We got a second from Bill. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
TIF balances as of today. Courthouse TIF is 267,543. Wapaka's 933,751. Webb Wheel is 310,778. And Riverview is $3,831.88. All right, we're going to move through this quickly today. Updates on Forest Canton Heights. Lettering's last week, Friday, we signed off with them on phase one, which is the, I guess you call it the major movement. Curb and gutters are down, gravel on the road's down. Everything is nice and strawed and seeded in. They're tearing it up again today, but we got that part done. And Kenny and I met with Kimberly on Friday and went through the final phase of phase one. So that's been completed. There's a couple of things that they're going to follow up on whenever the timing is right for that. But in essence, we're done with phase one. We have thanked them for that because it does look really, really nice. We started already on, which is really like the phase two, which is utilities. Case Bolts, Casey Electric is out there right now with REC and PSC and starting to put in electrical underground as well as conduit for internet and Wi-Fi and all the other stuff, all the technology. Ran into a little bit of an issue with the rain on Monday. It got a little bit sloppy. So they're working in the center section now. It seems to be a little easier to work on than the hillsides on the, especially on the west side. So Sam's is supposed to be in probably tomorrow now, I'm assuming, with weather permitting. And Sam will be putting in the water and sewage. Looks like they've already brought some of their supplies out there, so they're ready to go. Case Bolts has 30 days and Sam has 60 days to complete. So that phase is working through very, very, very well. If you haven't had a chance, I would encourage you to go look at it. They look nice. It looks like things are progressing well. We're staying within budget at this point, so we just hope that continues. Any questions on Forest Canton, the construction phase? Anybody? Okay. Now we're gonna kind of push this over to Bill because he can let us know what he's doing in terms of marketing, lot selection, and the lottery date, which we do have set for August 23rd at 6:30 here in the courthouse. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay, I've given you some paper. I'll give you a copy of this. I brought these in today so you can add to it, subtract from it. This is what would go out to the print media. I think, John, you said you're going to meet with Perry County News next week for an article.
On Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday, so that will take care of that. That will give us the publicity there. And I think we've decided that for the radio, it'd be best to wait closer to the date, or we would ask the radios, open to comments on that. After tonight, if everybody approves of what we've got here, I'm going to try to get it out to the print or to the social media. And I was wanting to ask if we want to develop our own page on Facebook, or you just want me to use mine and send it out?
Well, I believe Aaron has offered the use of the PCDC.
That would be even better yet. I'm going to give you a copy of this, Aaron, and I'm probably just going to take your advice on how you want us to proceed with this, because you've been real good about getting it on.
Think we need like super quick bullet points to sum it up. Like we will include the link that'll go to the county's website with all the information. I think it just needs to say like lots available, $15,000 a lot, lottery on, click for more information, because it's so in depth and so much of that. But
Okay, well, I'll just take your lead from that as far as the social media is concerned. Even if the print media, I was just going to send it out to the newspapers unless you've got a different suggestion there. I've got some media outlets here listed. You can add to it. I just was going to have a cover letter, have the press release, and send it out to them.
yeah, I think there's some, we can like cross-reference this with some of our more regional options. I mean, the Dairy County News, that's a good option. But it's even like, how big do you want to go? Inside Indiana business, and if you send it to them and all that statewide.
The ones I've got listed so far, of course, besides Perry County, would be the Jasper Herald, Hancock County, Evansville Courier, the Clarion, which would be Crawford County, the Spencer County Democrat, Owensboro Messenger, Inquirer, and I even thought it was going as far as Corydon Democrat. If you want to add any to that, that'd be great.
And we may be able to reference from the industries where their people are,
Yeah.
and as well as make sure that they get contacted directly.
Yeah, we can share it with all like the HR contacts. But I think you could probably get it, whether you're with statewide coverage through inside the business, and then that'll be on like podcasts and.
I think the question I've got is to these print media, do they want to charge us for an advertisement, or we're just going to use it for a press release?
I send it as a press release.
I would too.
I'm going
I
to
agree
send
with
it out
that.
as a press release,
If
and
they
then
run it, they run it. If not, then I think it's free, but I would start. There's too many.
okay, I'll get with you before we leave tonight on the social media, and then
I would also consider submitting this to television.
okay, do you want to
We
do
could get
that?
some coverage.
Do you want to do that closer to the time, like the
I think the
radio?
faster you get it out, the better.
Well, they need to have time if they're interested to get with their lender, right?
Right. So I'm thinking get it out now. If they deem it newsworthy enough to broadcast, then it starts a dialogue. And then they'll probably reach out to you and say, hey, give us some more
You're
details.
talking primarily just the Evansville stations then.
I would hit Louisville.
Well-
I'd go both ways. I think, we're as apt to attract builders from the Evansville market as the Louisville market.
Bill, don't think I'm being critical, but the subdivision, which will be, but it's there. I thought of rephrasing this subdivision is located at the junction of 37, because it's there now.
Okay,
Your wording is will be, but it's there. Just north of Tell City is compromised, or you've got will be, or will compromise, but it is compromised, right? Of 27 lots.
So it contains 27 lots.
You see what I'm saying?
Located
Because
at,
it's there.
and,
Is that wrong?
okay,
Would
so
it take that way?
I'll make it current instead of future.
Current.
We can work on it too.
You had something else at the bottom too, didn't you, Tony?
Yeah, I did. I'm concerned that if the person looked at this wrong, it says lots cannot be sold for more than the stated price. To me, if I was looking at that from the outside, well, I'm going to pay 15,000, but I can't sell it for more. Should it not be? Our agreement is that the lots have to be sold with the home constructed on them. Lots cannot be sold until a dwelling is constructed on.
Well, we talked about that earlier. If a person bought a lot and ran into some type of financial difficulty and they wanted to sell the lot.
Then they have to come back to us.
But then they have to come back to us.
Okay,
Based on circumstances.
so how do you want to word
The
that?
goal is assess valuation in single-family dwelling is
I can
so
leave
it's
it out
possible.
if you want me to.
not that it's a place to trade lots.
We've got it in the other part of it, don't we? The roof. so we could almost leave it out.
I'd leave it out.
Take it out?
I think so, Bill.
Okay. Now, it's on the Perry County website.
Yeah, I just don't want
Yeah.
You
people
want me
to
to make some
misinterpret
adjustments?
that.
Yeah, I'd take it out because when we get into the rules, we've got to state it in.
Yeah,
our
take-
Okay, so you want me to call Chris, and see if we can change that one more time? Because it's already listed.
Yeah, if we just take that phrase out.
Yeah, take the lots cannot be sold.
Well, I'll just retype it and then Chris has helped me a couple times. We've changed it a couple times already. I'll just change that, send a copy to Chris and say, Chris, can you take one out, put this in? So we'll do that.
Do we?
Yeah,
Do
I agree. The sooner we get it out, the better we get it out, the better
So-
we are.
Okay, even the radios?
Say it.
Oh, okay, we do list. I was just wondering if we list. I was missing it at the very last sentence. The lottery process. I just want to make sure that was in here. That's all I was asking.
I know, what do you think? Send it to the radio right away?
Do you want to add the QR code to this?
The what?
The QR code to this? Is that wrong?
I would
You're the
say
only
that-
one that had that, and by the time we got
Okay,
around,
I've shared it.
well, I couldn't find a digital copy of it. We were gonna put it on the sign, but I didn't wanna hold him up on the sign anymore, so we went ahead with the sign without the QR code.
We can always make a sticker.
Do you not have that, John? I sent it to
I
the
don't know.
board.
This is not my realm, so I don't know.
I don't have it, Tony.
I don't remember seeing it.
I'll resend it.
Now, do you wanna send that to the print media?
Yes, I
want
would send it
I
to
want to send it to
everybody.
you.
I mean, the QR code. but-
Yes.
So you wanna
Because
send
they
out
might-
basically the
I'll send
same
it to
press
David.
release to everybody and just send it out that way? Okay.
And print media might, like they run a photo with an article. If they're running the press release, they might throw the QR code in there. It's just more
Okay, all right.
advertising.
I'll do that tonight.
If you send me what you have so far, I think depending on who your target audience is, you might want to include, like, for more information about Perry County, visit perrycounty.com, like if you
Oh.
potential residents in the future, or even builders might want to know more about the area.
Mhm.
The more information, better, I guess.
Well, where do we wanna start on that one then? Maybe I'll talk.
Why don't you
Just
get
send
them?
it.
Yeah, I think so.
Send me what you have.
So you need a background then, Perry County a little bit, history.
But
We hadn't really even
It all
thought of
links-
that
It
yet.
all links together then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
just
But I'd
send
say
me what
by
you
next
have.
week we want it out.
Okay.
Nice job, Bill.
Yeah.
Well, the
Very
sign, the poster up, so the signs ought to be up anytime follow. I'm gonna trim around that one when you drive in, get that cleaned out a little bit once you get the sign up, so.
All right, anything else? Thank you all. We have the main reason, I guess, we're here, is we do have a bid opening. We have two bids, which will be for primarily Swiss Road and paving of Forest Canton Heights, but not finished paving of Forest Canton Heights. So we have a bid from CNR Construction and a bid from Lettering Brothers here. So we'll open Lettering's sign on top. By now, you'd think we know what page this stuff is on, wouldn't we? So the total bid price for Luttrings is $308,100. And again, that's for Swiss Road, which is about 440 feet of Swiss Road, including the ditches, including pavement. But not final pavement, because that'll come once we get closer to ending the project. That's kind of the decision that was made. So the other bid is coming from CNR Construction, and we have a representative here from that, from Corden. They're also nice. They marked the pages for me and I didn't realize it. So CNR's construction and consulting's bid was $326,900. So they're close within the margins. So what we've been doing in the past is we let Kenny review the bids, make sure that everything is how it's supposed to be. And then we make the we can either make the decision at a special meeting, or how do we want to handle that?
How did we do it last time?
Last time we made the decision, Kenny reviewed to make sure everything was okay, and then we took the lowest bid, is what we did last time. I think we did the same thing the time before, but we want to make sure that everything's right before we actually accept them.
So I'll make a motion to give it to Kenny Simpson, the project engineer, pending his approval.
We can, that's what we done last time,
That's one.
but pending the approval of,
Bid forms and everything is bid correctly.
okay, so then we'd be looking, I'm assuming, for the lowest of the two bids.
Or do you mean to come back
Or
and
do you
have
come
it?
back.
want us to come back?
Come back.
Okay. So then we would have to come back, which we could do, I'm assuming we could do next week, Wednesday.
It's a short meeting. I
Yeah,
just
for a
want to make
short
sure
meeting.
everything's right before anything moves forward.
As close as they are, I think that's very, very, very fair. I think that's the fair way to handle it. If there was a sizable difference, I mean, maybe that's different, but these are very, very close.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, so the motion is that we have Kenny review these, and next week, Wednesday at 4:00, we meet back here to make the final decision on the contractor for that project. That kind of what summarize it?
Yes, sir.
So we got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, I'll take a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. So that's what we'll do. So Kenny, you'll get these tonight. We can chat tomorrow, and then we will be here Wednesday at 4:00. And this will probably be the only thing on our agenda unless something else comes out. So your information is in here. So you're welcome to come next Wednesday, or we'll contact you and let you know. Is that fair enough? Same thing with you all? Fair enough? Okay. And again, I thank everybody for their bidding, and it's pretty tight. It's pretty tight. We've got two more things, and I'm going to go ahead and put Baker Tilly bill, and it's for $12,555, and that's for the professional services for doing our TIF evaluation. And what we have done in the past is we've divided that equally amongst all the TIF districts, is how we've done that. And I asked him to get that to us as soon as possible, and I'm glad he did. Normally he delays this thing for God only knows how long. So I'll need a motion to approve Baker Tilly and Jason's billing for TIF district.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. All right. Then the last thing, and we can take this as far as you want to take it, as we're starting to kind of wind down, I shouldn't say wind down, but we are kind of winding down the housing development. Any thoughts on direction of where the redevelopment commission needs to go from here? I don't want to sit idle. I know we're going to have some things to continue to work on with housing and the housing development. But I think we also need to figure out where we want to go from here, from an economic development standpoint.
Well, a couple of months ago, and I won't say who I met with, but I met with some industry people. And I told them we were working on the housing, and as soon as we wrapped housing up, we would take what they felt was the most important issue facing them, which is, for them, is daycare.
Okay.
We have several $100,000 in unspent TIF money, which I think I mentioned at the last meeting. We could use the seed money for grants and Ready Act 2. I think the board, we can assign duties to people like the housing was. I will be meeting one of the groups Friday. I think our job as a redevelopment corporation is to provide infrastructure, and however we can use seed money to work on grants and coordinating with all the economic development people in Perry County. And John, you've crashed some numbers, what it's going to take, 100+ kid facility.
About 1.2 million to 1.6 million
So that's my
per
thought,
facility.
where until we get through this housing, and I am all in favor if this is successful, starting another one of them.
And we're talking about infrastructure from
We're
this.
talking about infrastructure. We're not talking about running daycare.
Thank you.
We're talking about providing infrastructure, whether it's land, utilities, whatever it takes to get it started, to get it into private hands where it can make money.
And it
We-
will.
Well, it's
My
not
my
gonna
math
be-
says it will.
Childcare stuff.
Huh?
Childcare won't be.
Well, my math says we should be
Oh,
close.
John.
Yes, my math is saying it should.
Well, Carol can tell you. I promise.
So if we want to look at that, I think it's worth taking a look at.
Okay.
And if it's not in our ballpark, then we will back off of it, focus on something else.
But I think you're right. We need to at least look at it.
Yeah, let's
Decide
look
what
at it
works.
as a group.
David,
I can't imagine daycare not making money or childcare not making money.
but anything else besides daycare that you can think of?
Or you go pursue more housing?
Well, and that's a good question. You said the question on the housing, and this is what I've thought about, is do we let this kind of see how it does and then go from there? We've got kind of the formula now.
I guess that's true. If you
So I don't
fill
think,
it pretty
I don't
quickly.
think the formula is going to take us that extra year to get it going. Does that make sense? Now, we know Ready 2 is coming whenever it decides to show up. I don't know. But I think if Ready 2 would come, I think we could move relatively quickly if it was housing.
Yeah, there's another plot of land ready to go, local. And
I know at one time we discussed like multifamily.
Mhm.
Well, I still believe there's and I might be totally wrong, but I think there's a demand for, and I call them townhouses, something that's kind of nice.
duplexes,
Huh?
duplexes,
Duplexes.
there is a contractor who's ready to build, but he needs help.
I mean, I think we could look at something like that versus what we did this time. Maybe that's the mix if we get into to more housing.
I know like even in Mariah Hill, they built a few duplexes and they filled up really quick.
And I need to talk to Ron to see how his apartments are filling up. I don't know if how many he's got ready. Huh?
Met with Nicole yesterday and talked to Ron today.
Are they filling up?
They have 17 left.
Oh, really?
How many?
36.
They're about halfway. Yeah, I haven't talked to him, so I didn't know how they were filling up. Looks like somebody's moved in because there's a grill sitting out back of one, so I'm assuming that's
The one
somebody's.
building isn't done yet.
Any thoughts from a
So that's-
commissioner or a council person on where this direction should go?
This time I want to think about it. I wasn't prepared.
Well, think about it.
So the top two things we have now is childcare and housing. Bill, any thoughts?
Don't take his route. I'm just gonna- Can I think about it?
Think about it.
Think about it.
Carol?
Well, I mean, I definitely would like to hear what our county officials would like for us to do since we're here at their behest. So any feedback would be appreciated. But then I'd also, again, like to keep the dialogue open with the Prairie County Development Corporation and find out what they need from
Give you
us.
some potential infrastructure projects.
And I think one of them that we can't ignore is we do still have the site, Wapaka site, that eventually something's got to happen to.
Right.
If that's us or if that's who that's going to be.
Based on timing.
We've
yes.
got to eventually get that to a point where it's functional.
But there is plans for the lower pad.
There are plans, and I think the plans, if Wapaka's process goes through, they're going to need some work anyway behind that building in order to do their work, which, we hope is extremely successful, because that's going to give us some longevity, I think, from a community standpoint. And that's one of the things we've been trying to do to help them is show the community support and do what we can do to help them. So I don't think we can ignore that.
No.
And I don't know exactly what that's going to take yet. I know Kenny, he's looked at the original plan, and we really haven't chatted through it very much to see what it looks like.
Speaking of that area, has all the deeds been finished? Is that all
Well,
cleared
yeah,
up?
pretty much.
If you need a deed updated, you would like it to me.
Yeah, we had some issues with the what happened when they did the mitigation on one section of that, it was 20 acres. 15 of it was for web and 5 of it was on the, would be Wapakas, and they didn't separate it. So we had to get the mitigation people and involved to try to get it separated.
The 80 acres for Wapaka is
Done.
completely
Yeah.
done, reported, they have copies of everything. The Web has said that they will take the mitigation, so when we
They'll take the
met-
mitigation acreage.
Yes, the 15 point,
Right,
whatever it is.
that's on
Okay.
there, which, when the RDA transferred to the RDC and then the RDC to transfer to Web, we didn't yet know if they wanted to say, no, just you keep that and we'll take our property minus that. But they have said they would like it. But before we can do any of the transfer, we still have to get the deed restrictions added for the mitigation, and we need one more property description that differentiates exactly where that 15.6 acres lies in relation to the 20.4 acres.
So we met with Andrew last week, Wednesday or Thursday, and I think he's got the information, so he's now doing the
But
document.
instead of doing at the joint meeting, you guys had made a motion to transfer the deed, like 30-some acres to them, and then at a later date, if they wanted it, do the rest. But since it hasn't been finalized, probably make more sense, since they want it all, to just do it all.
We're gonna end up with another joint meeting.
Yeah.
To make sure it's all, so yeah, we're getting there. We're close.
Good.
But Wapaka's satisfied, at least they have the property that they're planting, so it's all-
Right.
that is done. And the rest of it, in conversation with them, we may wait to see what we have to do in order to get the rest of the site up to some facsimile of usage. You know, that means getting the pad work done or whatever we have to do. And it sounds like we have some interest. We're starting to get maybe a little more interest for that area, so we may have to work on that too. That's why I wanted to put that on the list.
Yeah.
I don't think we can keep ignoring it. We got to get it done. Nothing else that'll look
RDA
nicer.
will, I don't know if they will need to meet, but I have sent on the RDA owns additional property around the industrial park, and I have the description and from the environmental consultant, the language that needs to be added to the deed to reflect the mitigation. So I've sent that, I believe, to Andrew. I guess Kelly, I don't know if it needs to go to a meeting, but that needs to be signed by the RDA.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do a joint meeting. When I talked to Kelly we kind of agreed that'd be the best.
Want that meeting.
And they need to do a meeting anyway, because I think they have to do their officers and that sort of thing, so. Yeah. So if you all think of anything else, we're gonna continually, I'm gonna keep it on the agenda, because I don't want to just get kind of stagnant here. We probably should take a break, but I don't think we need to. I guess if we want to break, everybody can jump off at the end of the year if they want to, I guess. It's an option. Anything else? Anything? Kenny,
No.
anything? David?
Well, I will add this. Your estimate was very good. You should give John credit. He estimated almost exactly to the penny.
That was close.
On Swiss Road. Yeah, you were right on it. Very impressive. So,
That kept us in budget too, didn't it?
Kept us in budget. We did have just kind of a FYI, had a couple add-ons on the last piece. One of it, in the original bid, we didn't have stone under the curbs, so we added that. And then we had to do a little bit more line stabilization because of the weather primarily. Otherwise, it would have slowed them way down. So we spent money on that. Now, there was one other little small thing, but it wasn't really anything major. $3,000, I think, on the project, so.
yeah, we had to increase the size of the manholes.
That's what
4
it was.
feet to 5 feet.
Correct.
Why was that?
Because the inlets that I designed, the inlets were double instead of single, because there was a lot of flow coming down, and they They said 4-footer would work. I called out a 4-footer, but they said they'll take a 5-footer. That's what they'll, so that's what we switched.
Easy enough.
With that, all in favor for adjournment? We need a motion for that.
So,
So a motion
second.
second. Thank you all very much. We'll see you next Wednesday. I will send out the agenda tomorrow, the agenda